So, should we get into the juicy?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited.
All right. So,
Probably topics I know more about than streaming.
yeah. We don't know. You know a lot. So I want you. So we had a discussion before the show a while ago about
Are we getting
debunking.
controversial right now?
No,
Okay, good.
debunking is because
I'm
there's
sure it's controversial to someone.
Yes.
There's always something.
Always.
someone's going to be offended, but let's say screw that person for now. So you had a thing about you said that
Coffee.
big pharma conspiracies are not a thing. You have a, and say you have a stakeholder and you're biased, but like you actually in that field, so you know.
Well, it's more that the meme, using the actual meaning of that word, is this basically, if anyone doesn't know the meaning of the word, Richard Dawkins coined it in his book The Selfish Gene, and it's basically a memory version of a gene is the best way to describe it. So you've got genetics, you've got memetics, and memetics is basically an idea that spreads through a population, similar to how a gene through a population. Now, the meme of there's this large organization and they're keeping people sick because they are hiding the cure to a disease, that is like demonstrably ridiculous, really. The actual thing that Big Pharma does, if you want to see an actual Big Pharma conspiracy, is quite the opposite. They're quite good at making their drugs look better than they are, and that's a problem that we see in pretty much every area.
Which is shocking, but it's not at the same time.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, I can't believe that. But then you think about it, you're like, well, I guess.
It's like a high school thing. It's like, oh yeah, this was supposed to reach this temperature on the Bunsen burner, but it only reached 50 degrees. So I'll just change the results and like embellish them a bit.
See,
which is bad.
So the problem with this is the way that they do this is very subtle, and it's not as simple as that. So something like fudging the numbers, there's been, there's dozens of examples from the scientific literature of people who have fudged the numbers. I think Gregor Mendel's initial P experiments are a great example of that. The numbers are too good. The numbers are perfect. I mean, we're talking like you're looking at Mendelian genetics. You're saying that, I don't know if people don't know what a Punnett square is, basically you've got two copies of a certain gene that both of your parents have. You've got these two copies, then you have two from your other parent, and you've got this square, which is basically which of the two versions of this gene do you get from each of your parents.
It's like that whole dominant recessive stuff. Is that like where you do in like high school biology, where you do like, exactly brown eyes, blue eyes, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay,
so,
cool.
So the actual background of that is there's a monk, actually. I think it was I think it was in I want to say Czech Republic. Someone fact checked me on that. It was in the 1820s or something. He was born, I think, and he ended up looking at little pea plants, and the research he did was basically say, oh, well, look, when you're hybridizing two different pea plants of different strains, you can basically control their traits, and he identified dominant and recessive gene traits and that sort of thing. And the issue with his work, and this is about the same time that Charles Darwin was working on his stuff. If memory serves. I'd have to get my exact dates correct, but about 150, 200 years ago. Yeah. And sort of completely independent of what Darwin was doing. You've got this guy, this monk in a monastery researching inheritance and the inheritance of phenotypes across generations of plants. Yeah. But the numbers that he actually has are quite good. Yeah. Like he's definitely fudged the numbers to make it look better.
I think as someone that's part of, I mean, I don't know if I'm part of the science community yet, but having looked at science for the last 3 years in my degree, you see that, and it's like what I've learned is in science, the goal is to like prove things wrong. Be wrong because it is way easier to be wrong than to be right, because if you are right, everyone is going to rip you to shreds until you're not. In terms of like peer review and all of that literature stuff. So that to me, like I see the significance in that. If the numbers are that good, you just like, you're so skeptical. Science teaches you to like
Mm.
be the critic of everything.
That's right.
Yeah,